first day squatting back since I was in LA, and honestly, I'm here with my friend Jordan. Honestly, I'm not really happy with how they're going. They're feeling like heavier than normal, and I think it's just because of how much I was sitting driving and stuff. It just felt really, I don't know, they just feel a little off. Like my knees, I did just do sumo deadlifts yesterday. My knees just feel kind of like tight. So I think I'm just gonna keep it really light today and do 185 pounds for 5 sets of 5, but I'm gonna do them all paused. Just so I can work on, you know, making sure I'm in the hole and stuff like that. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just one of those things that's frustrating because you just want to like progress, but I feel like I should really make sure, you know, you take a step back so you're not hurting yourself, and just making sure you're getting that form down and getting those patterns down so you're able to squat heavier later. I think that's more important than trying to, you know, push myself to like squat the most weight that I can today. So yeah, I'm gonna do 5 sets of 5, 185 pounds paused. Let's do this. So I got 4 sets done, 5 reps. It was really easy. So I think on this last set, I'm gonna do an AMRAP set. So what that means is as many reps as possible. So I'm gonna try and get as many reps as I can, paused, 185 pounds. I have no idea how this is gonna go, but I'm kind of excited about doing it. Okay, so I'm going to the church now because we're going to be doing a practice basically of what we're going to be doing tomorrow, because tomorrow is our like Christmas service. So today I think we're doing like a practice. I'm not playing like the actual drums, but I'm playing like a drum. I think there's like a song with like extra drums in it. Like I'll probably be playing like a floor tom. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing, so that's why I'm going there to practice. I'm assuming it's going to be super duper easy. Probably won't be like a challenge at all, but they just want to, you know, get the practice in to make sure I know what I'm supposed to be doing tomorrow. So that's what I'm going to go do now, and then I'll see you guys there. So I've been getting a ton of questions about people kind of asking about how do I break a weight loss plateau? Like, what do I do? What are the tips that you have to break a weight loss plateau? And the weight loss plateaus and stuff like that, I think it's something that's really personal. It's different for everybody. So I just kind of want to talk about my situation and what I've been through and how I've been able to break through plateaus and, you know, just, you know, deal with plateaus. So one of the things, especially for me, that I've realized is whenever I feel like I'm hitting a plateau, luckily, I mean, obviously I'm in a different journey now, but when I was losing weight, I realized almost 90% of the time when I felt like I was in a plateau and I was doing everything that I possibly could to break through the plateau, I realized that I was lying to myself and I wasn't being as truthful as I could be. The reason I say that is because I would always feel like, yo, I am working as hard as I possibly can, like all this stuff, but then when I would really look at maybe the diet that I was doing and the routine that I was doing in the gym, all of those things combined, it really wasn't as much as I was telling myself, and I feel like that's huge when it comes to people, but me in general, you know, I can sit there, I'm gonna be honest, I can sit there and lie to myself more than anybody in the world. Like, I can sit there and tell myself that I'm doing so amazing and doing so much better than all these other people, but in reality, I'm not working as hard as I'm saying. And I've realized that, especially when people come up to me and they ask me and they talk to me, I'll ask them, you know, how many calories are you eating? And if you don't know how many calories you're eating every day, you need to figure that out, because there's no way that you'll be able to manipulate that and try and fix that when you do hit a plateau. I've had a whole video on TDEE, which is total daily energy expenditure. That is invaluable when it comes to dealing with plateaus. So I'll link that video below. If you don't know what your TDEE is, find out what that is, because that'll be invaluable when you're trying to break your plateau. So when it comes to weight loss plateaus, the things, obviously there's two main things, right? diet and exercise. You know, manipulating those is what's gonna help you break your plateau. And like I said before, if you don't know what your TDE is, you need to figure that out, because that's gonna tell you pretty much how many calories you should be eating a day, right? And the thing that I want to bring up that a lot of people maybe don't realize, or that people might forget, is that, you know, your calories are going to change. Like, if you lose weight, your body doesn't need as many calories as it did when, say if you're 300 pounds, right? If you lose 50 pounds, your body's not going to need as many calories because you're 50 pounds less of a human. And that's huge, I feel like, when it comes to weight loss. You need to always be ever changing your diet and trying to make sure that you're eating the amount of calories that you need to be eating. That's why I bring up the TDE, because it's super, super invaluable when it comes to just helping you out with your diet. A lot of people, they just get so wrapped up in like, I need to eat clean, I need to only eat this kind of food. But yeah, like, if you're eating clean, that's great, but if you're eating too many calories, you're not gonna lose weight. It's not gonna happen. And so if you come up and tell me that I am, you know, I hit a plateau, I don't know why I'm not losing any weight, and I ask you, you know, how many calories are you eating a day, and you tell me that you don't know, I'm like, I don't know, I'm just eating clean. I'm like, you have to figure that out. You have to figure how many calories you're eating every single day, and because that's the only way you can, you have to be able to know how to manipulate your calories. It's very, 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 very important, and almost everyone that I've ever talked to that's had success in weight loss, but success in sustained weight loss and has been able to keep the weight off, knows what TDEE is, and they understand how to manipulate their calories, and they understand how to manipulate those things to reach their goals. Because if you just are like hoping that you eat chicken breast and broccoli and that's gonna work for you, I'm sorry, but it doesn't always work. You have to be vigilant in the knowledge that you're trying to get. So understand how that works, and it's very, very important. And don't lie to yourself, because if you're lying to yourself, if you're sneaking that donut, like, you're the only person that you're messing with. You know, you're only ruining your progress. So if you're gonna sit there and hit somebody up, and like, I'm not trying to be, you know, I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that, but this is how I was to myself. This is what I told myself. You know, if I'm messing up and I'm like, if I'm gonna go to someone and ask for them for their help, I'm not gonna waste their time. You know, I'm not gonna lie to them and say, hey, this is how many calories I eat, and in reality, I'm eating way more than that. So you have 100%, you have to be honest with yourself and whatever coach it is that you might have, or whoever it is that might be helping you. If you're not honest with them, you're wasting your time and you're wasting their time. So you have, like, honesty is huge with this. You have to be brutally honest. There's no room for, you know, maybe, oh, I had a handful of this. Like, yeah, that's fine if you know how many calories you should be eating, right? And if you're trying to lose weight and you hit a plateau and it's really bothering you, almost every time, for me, I wasn't being honest with myself, and I was not working as hard as I was telling myself. So that's a really big one. And then as far as, like, you know, people will say, if you're doing low intensity cardio, maybe do HIIT, you know, high intensity interval, HIIT, high intensity interval training. That might help a bit. A lot of people, you know, because all weight loss is calories in versus calories out. So if you are burning more calories than you are consuming, you will be losing weight. So however you need to manipulate that, because if you end up cutting your calories too low and you're barely eating anything, that's not good. So maybe cut your calories a little bit, but then also increase the cardio that you're doing so you're burning more calories throughout the day. Those are my biggest tips that I could really say when it comes to hitting a plateau. But I think the biggest takeaway that I could give to this is you have to be honest, and there's nobody that you're hurting other than yourself if you sit there and you're not honest and you're just kind of like, oh no, I'm working really, really hard, but I'm having a donut. But you're not saying that, right? But the only person that you're hurting is yourself. So I mean, I hate to be kind of like brutally honest like this, but there's nothing that I can do for someone if they're not being honest, you know, if they're not telling themselves. But what I said about your total daily energy expenditure, I will link that video down below. I really, really think it's helpful, and it is my best weight loss advice, and in turn it's my best breaking up plateau advice. Just remember, this is a huge thing too. The more weight you lose, the less calories you need to eat. And I really want you to research that. If you kind of think about it like this: 400-pound person doesn't need as much calories to sustain, or no, sorry, a 200-pound person doesn't need as much calories to sustain life as a 400-pound person. So if you are a 400-pound person and you start losing your weight and you get down to 300 pounds, you shouldn't be eating as much as you were when you were 400 pounds, if that makes sense. So, you know, weight loss is always fluctuating. There's ebbs and flows. You need to be making sure that you're fixing your diet, fixing how many calories you need to be eating. It should be really, really helpful. So I hope that kind of answered some of your questions. Just honestly, be honest. Find out your TDE. Like I said, I'll link that video down below. It's very helpful. I really think it's one of my most helpful videos that I've ever made, and that really should help if you're having any struggles with a plateau. Just remember, you have to, if there's something that's not working, you have to change something. You know, like if you're hit a plateau, something has to give, something has to change. So I hope that video helped you guys out. That's gonna be the end of today's video. Really appreciate you guys watching this. I love you guys so much. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. There was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh yeah, look how buff I am.